Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Bump and Run episode 10. I'm your host, DB. I got Pat Perry with me, our boy producer Tony down there in the corner, hanging out for a few hot topics around the world of golf today. Not talking gambling or DFS or any of that golf nerdy stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about team events, the new PGA Tour news that dropped this week, as well as Jupiter Links GC. If you're like, what the heck is that? Oh boy, you should know. Looking forward to it. How we doing, boys? Pat, you good? You're not LIV Pat today, so you're but LIV kicks off tonight. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it does. No, I'm not LIV Pat, which was fun to do the LIV show with you, but yeah, I'm excited to be here, working the real job today, DB. So I'm looking sharp here. I got my hair all slicked back and everything. So yeah.
Tony?
Looking smooth, Pat. You're looking smooth. I texted you guys. I think we need, like, maybe it's one of these shows. We need a DB Khaled and LIV Bro Pat doing a show. Maybe we keep that one a little bit short.
Yeah.
I forget who in the chat said I don't think we would need that. Maybe it's like an 8-minute show.
Yeah,
just
8 to 10.
Quick one.
Yeah, I don't know how long I could keep that going. I don't know how long I could do it.
A short
I actually
show.
was going to try to keep LIV Pat going the entire show, and I was like, "There's no way I could do it the entire show."
So a short show with that would make sense. With DB, all you would say was, "Look what God did."
Yeah.
And then I would imagine LIV Bro Pat doesn't really have much going on up in the thinker, and is just, let's hit bombs and then wrap the show.
Team golf, baby. LIV team.
Oh dear. Let's get into some discussion. Before we do, want to thank our friends at Swannies. Check out swannies.co, link in the description of the show. If you want some fresh gear for the spring, for the summer, you're getting out on the golf course, or maybe you're just, you're walking around town, you want to look fresh. Maybe you're a shitty golfer, but you want to look like a good golfer outside of a golf course. Like if you go to a nice restaurant and you want to say, like, hey, everybody should know that I'm probably a really good golfer. If you want other men in that restaurant to look at you and be like, damn, I bet a dude can hit it, huh? Mm-hmm. But you really can't. You could wear some Swannies. I can tell you that right now would work, right? So swannies.co, TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order. Check it out. The whole thing is awesome. They got stuff for juniors, for the lady in your life. It's all beautiful. Tony's rocking the hat, one of the hats right now, the Swannies golf hat. That's lovely. All right. Let's get to it. What's our first topic here, Tony?
All right, guys. We got a team event in golf this week. You guys have mentioned it's kind of a chill week in the betting world. Not only have you guys kind of taken a little bit of a back road with that, I've seen some other the betting content guys do the same thing. But just, I guess, the randomness of this event with the pairings with the teams. So I wanted to throw out, DB. We'll start with you. Are you a fan? Betting aside, are you just a fan of team events? Obviously, we got the Ryder Cup. Some people put the Ryder Cup even above some of the majors as far as what they like to watch. I know a few of the pros have said that. Rory has said something along those lines as well. So are you a fan just of team golf in general? I feel like the Zurich is a little bit, like you said, randomness in how they do it, how they approach it. I actually kind of like how LIV does it with everyone's out on the golf course. They're not grouped together. It's just kind of not necessarily random, but the team aspect is kind of there, but it's secondary. Let me throw it out to you. Do you have like a perfect team event that you would like to see the professionals do?
I don't know if I had that cooked up in my head, but I would rank the Masters number one, and then the Ryder Cup for me, and then probably the Open, U.S. Open, PGA, if I were to put that in there. So I do love the team golf, love the Ryder Cup thing, but it's the meaning behind the Ryder Cup, and it's the match play that we get that we don't get with something like the Zurich, that we don't get with LIV. With the Zurich event, we get the format, we get best ball, we get alternate shot. I mean, best ball, four ball at the Zurich is so meaningless to me. These guys are literally playing their own ball again. It just counts different on the scorecard. It's not match play, it's stroke play. So to me, half of the Zurich is ridiculous. Like, I don't care. The alternate shot is fun to watch because it's different. We don't get it a lot, but it's still stroke play at the Zurich. It's not match play. You're not like, to me, the thrill of some of the team golf stuff that we get at the Ryder Cup or even the President's Cup is that you're competing against the guys in your group and only them. You're basing your decision of how aggressive or how conservative you need to be on that hole against the guys that you're watching and playing against right then and there on that hole. The Zurich isn't like that, and it has no meaning to me. I mean, it's a half baked event with a fraction of the FedEx Cup points, a fraction of the salary or the purse. So I mean, even the tour, they don't have shot link. Like even the tour is saying, yeah, we're just gonna kind of do this. Um, so it's not a perfect concoction to me. And the whole team thing is just random too. Like the fact that Russ Cochran, who I would imagine Pat had some sort of affinity for at one point in his boyhood journey of loving golf, and who is 60 something years old and apparently hits at about 230 off the tee right now, 240 off the tee. The fact that he can just appear as Eric Cole's partner in this event is just silly. It's silly. It is. It's ridiculous. So like, it's just random as hell. The whole thing is just so annoying. I wish the tour would either do away with it, take the week off, bring the match play back. I mean, even the match play wasn't teams, but it was at least match play. We got to see something different. And I don't mind the live team format either, but it's not perfect. I think ultimately to have a great team competition, the teams have to mean something. It has to mean something. It's why the TGL, which we're going to get to in a little bit, it's why that's not right either. Like, I don't know how these companies, these leagues don't get this, but there has to be some meaning behind it. And it just feels random and thrown together and meaningless to me. So that's my take on it. I don't know, Pat, what do you think?
Well, I
Were
mean,
you
I
a Russ
think
Cochran fan back in the day, or?
no. I'm trying to even picture what he looks like.
Well, he only won one time on the PGA Tour, and it was like 1991.
Didn't he
So
used to wear like? No, that was somebody else. That was Duffy Waldorf. Used to wear the crazy shirts, like the flower shirts, the Hawaiian shirts, and all that kind of stuff.
there was another guy that did that though, Duffy
I
and
think Russ Cochran did wear some crazy shirts. I don't know. Maybe we can find that. Listen,
if Theo Vaughn or Joe Rogan would be like, Tony, pull up a picture of Russ Cochran from back in the day, and Tony would have
I
to add it
mean,
up in about 12 seconds.
well, look, I agree. I think the team event, the problem is the meaning behind it. It's like the Ryder Cup. If you put it right behind the Masters, oh wait, do we have a picture?
Tony's on it. Well, he's
Okay.
moving and shaking. Whoa, is that Russ Cochran on the left with the cap? Is that Russ Cochran?
No,
That's
that's not Russ
I
Cochran, is
love
it?
the randomness of when you Google a name or Google something.
yeah.
That's like
So
like
here's
Russ
Hanging in the
Cochran
random.
and
Huh.
there's the
So,
cock
I
kissing
don't
the
know.
trophy
He
there.
just looks like a guy who's in our flight at the member guest, and he beats the brakes off of us every year, Pat. He looks like a guy in his
that's a
60s.
painting. That's a painting.
There we go. He's pretty.
Oh, back in the day.
I
That's the
think
plainest attire
Look
I've
at him
ever
with the
seen.
visor on. Russ
dude,
is a
that is
good.
the most 90s pro looking dude I've ever seen right there.
He's a lefty too, isn't he?
Pro set.
I
I
don't
think
know.
he's a lefty. Um, actually, you bring up a good point that I wanted to make, DB. The member get so team golf actually is probably the one thing we can relate to the most because we play a member guest. Most normal people that play golf, when we're playing as a team, it's usually in like a member guest. So to me, if you're going to make the perfect, maybe team format, if we're going to play around with this on tour just to do it, maybe make it like a member guest where you have flights and stuff and then you have a
Oh
shootout or
my
something like that. I
Could you
mean,
imagine
that at least be something different,
could you
like,
imagine flighting the teams in a PGA Tour event?
well, they'd all be to fight, like the same level, right? So
No.
you wouldn't have any shots or anything. Can you
Oh,
imagine if you
no, I
gave
think you
shots
should. I
like
think you
Russ
totally
Cochran?
should.
How many shots would Russ Cochran have?
Yeah. Oh god, actually, that's a brilliant idea. I think you should totally be flighted, and I think you should be flighted
Yeah.
based on, the tour would have to lay out some sort of recent form guidelines or something. But like if Scotty decided to play like his team, and it would be obviously in the flight one,
Or they'd be like +10.
but
They'd have,
you'd have Rory in like flight 9.
yeah, you probably would. Him and Shane.
Rory playing down to like in the flight with Kisner and Scott Brown right now, and Russ Cochran and Eric Cole.
Can you
And then,
imagine like them going to they had a Calcutta too. That would even be even better. And like them going to the Calcutta and like Rory looking up and seeing that he's in flight 9. It's like
yeah,
I'm surprised Jonas Blix isn't in this tournament because he won this thing with somebody, didn't they?
yeah, him and Cam Smith won it, which
Cam
is
Smith. Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Like if you go back and look at the teams that have won this thing, like I know Cantlay and Xander figured it out one year, but other than that, it is random as hell. It is just banana land random. So good
The
luck trying.
last thing I'll say is you have to. I will admit, the year that Kiz and Scott Brown got in that playoff,
That was
Yeah.
that was pretty damn exciting.
the playoff was exciting.
Other than that, though, I'm pretty much in total agreement with you. But I did have that idea as a way we could do a team event.
I mean, yeah. Everybody's pissed off at Eric Cole for bringing in the guy who like puts him who has so many shots, but he's also like the old guy that never makes worse than a bogey or something because he just hits it straight as a string.
Can you imagine the shootout? They get on golf carts and all
They're
riding around. All the players like they got food trucks coming along with them and everything because everybody loves the food in Louisiana. That's all they talk about. They ask every player about the food in Louisiana or in New Orleans.
You want a crawfish on number 4? We got you, dog. I just think, dude, I think that's what the PGA. First of all, the PGA Tour is never going to do that. Like literally never. They're never going to do it. But Capital One has done all these match things right lately, and they've kind of started bombing. Remember they're like the Lexi Homa whatever one they just did bombed. Like maybe they've kind of run out of the steam of what that thing was when it kind of got started. Maybe now the next iteration is some event in the fall where they do it like a member guest, but with pros and get a bunch of pros or get a bunch of pros with a bunch of amateurs and do it just like a member guest, like what they do with some of these big pro-am events, but do it exactly like the member guest with the flights and the formats, like you just said, because that is so relatable to a lot of guys who watch this every week.
Absolutely.
I love that idea. Capital One should do that.
I mean, that's like the Seminole Pro member there.
Yeah.
Right before the Honda.
Yeah.
That's a little different though, because they don't have they don't do like the shootout. It's more of like there's a gross division and a net division. It's kind of bland, I think.
You got to have a shootout.
You got to have a shootout. You got to have flights.
Yeah.
You got to like try to handicap some of these players in some way.
Would it be more than about the format with the shootout, stuff like that, or the names? Could you get away with, let's just say, the top 20 don't come, and you've got 21 to 60?
I think if the format were there, I think it would still slap.
Yeah,
if it were the same level of field that we have now at the Zurich, even if you throw out like Rory and Lowry and Cantlay and Xander, if it were the same field level, I think if the format were there and it was so relatable to so many guys who play the member guests, I think it would work.
Agreed.
Yeah, we fixed it.
Problem solved.
Awesome. Right, next question.
All right, fellas. Next topic here. We've got a bunch of news from Newco Inc., PGA Tour Enterprises, whatever you want to call this new venture that we're going on. The other day, the PGA Tour gave out a ton of equity money to a bunch of guys, 75 guys total, I believe, to the tune of $750 million that will be vested over the next decade, a little short of the next decade. Tiger's going to get 100 million. Rory's going to get 50. JT and Jordan are each going to get 30 million. Some news too with Rory as far as him rejoining the policy board, him being excited about going back to the policy board, which he just resigned from a few months ago as well. So a lot of stuff going on with the PGA Tour outside or off of the golf course. So Pat, I wanted to throw that out to you. Does any of this kind of stuff, I know for me, the equity money, the amount of money that is just kind of being handed out, thrown around, this is the kind of stuff that kind of turns me off to the state of golf right now. So I wanted to throw that out to you first. Does hearing these numbers, seeing this, the constant with LIV and the money being thrown around there, even though it was a rumor, Greg Norman came out the other day and said we never offered Rory any contract or anything like that. That was reported at 850 million. Just the absurd numbers that are being thrown around the world of golf right now. Does that turn you off, or can you kind of let me see, compartmentalize?
There we go. Nailed it.
Uh,
Good job. Yeah.
can you? I'm not going to try it again. Can you just put that to the side and just say, hey, I just want to watch some golf?
I think now there's plenty of like on the golf Twitter world yesterday or X world, there was a lot of comments on this money that was being handed out. I think DB even put something out there about JT, which it is a little, when you look at like JT of this group, it's a little bit off, but all of it is off-putting. And I'm kind of with you. Like it's like this with any sport to me. Like I don't like it when it's negotiation time in football and the NFL. I don't like it in baseball. I don't like any of that. It just like it takes away from any of the excitement I have for the game. And then I think it is what's turning a lot of people off right now with golf in general, is because it's all that's being talked about is just the money and that kind of stuff. I mean, I could care less that they're getting their money, whatever it is, what it is. I mean, like
less. You
couldn't care less. I knew you were going to say that.
I hate it when people say I could care less. God,
I couldn't care less.
There we go.
About the money that they're getting. And I'm sure there's reasons JT's getting money and Jordan's getting money, and the numbers are what they are versus like a Scheffler and Ludwig and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like you kind of have to, I guess, reward a little bit of the past, obviously with Tiger Woods.
That's what they're doing. Yeah.
For the future. But all of it still just totally like it turns me, like as soon as I start seeing that all over X, I just want to get out of the app. I don't even care. And then I don't have anywhere to go this week because of Zurich, and so I don't have anything to watch.
You have LIV,
and I got LIV now.
Yeah,
and that has all about money too. So it's like this is the worst week ever when it comes to golf and money and everything. But I know DB has more opinions on some of the, or Tony, go ahead.
Well, just to clarify too, so I misspoke. 200 players will receive a stake, and then just to give some more context, 750 million will be distributed top 30 to the top 36 players based on a formula. It weighs career success and cultural popularity. So I think that's where the Jordan, the Jordan JTs come in, as far as what they've done throughout their career.
This is very similar to the PIP.
Yeah. So it's again, it's PIP, it's more just being thrown at these guys. And then Pat, like you were saying, the fact that Rory is going to get $50 million, which I'm not saying it's not deserved, earned, anything like that. But then I looked earlier too, and he made $80 million last year alone. 40 million on the course, 40 million off the course. So again, just the fact that it seems like you can't escape the money aspect of it. I totally agree with.
And if the LIV rumors were true, what is another 50 million in equity that he gets over 8 years worth of vesting going to do if LIV truly offered him $750 million?
Yeah. Seriously.
This is okay. I put out the tweet yesterday and people were like, yeah. I understand that the reason that the dollar amounts were going to who they were going to is it was a reward thing. It was a thank you for being loyal thing. Okay. It was not, it was not an investment to necessarily keep the future locked down. It seems like, one of two things is happening. It seems like either the tour is intent on continuing to fight this battle against LIV, hoping that something goes their way and they end up being able to sustain without needing LIV's money, which I can't imagine that being the case. Or maybe this is a step towards getting the LIV deal to come closer, because now they can all these guys that stayed can quit bitching about, well, we stayed, how come we don't get anything? Like now they can shut that up so that they can move forward with doing a deal, because that has been probably their biggest problem. So if this gets us closer to that, then okay, fine. I'm for it because I want resolution. So does everybody else. Pat couldn't have, you can't state it any you can't state it strongly enough that golf is losing eyeballs. Pro golf is losing eyeballs because of all this stuff. And you can blame it on a bunch of different people. We get messages from time to time. People, unsubscribing from our emails or canceling the Discord and saying, I love you guys, love what you do. I've been a fan for a long time, but all this stuff about pro golf has turned me off and I've moved on. I don't watch it anymore. I don't care about it anymore. That is happening. Okay. It's happening all over the place. So something has to give. But if I'm one of the guys who's coughed up, whatever this $1.5 billion investment is, and now we've made the tour a real business, the tour NewCo. Okay, we're going to be a real business. We're not going to be a nonprofit that just figures out a way to shell out all this money. But now we're a real business, and we want to keep our talent on the PGA Tour. Then this has to be a business. We have to put our big boy pants on and make big boy pants business decisions by saying, if you want to bitch, I'm sorry, but now we are focused on the future. We are not focused on the past. If you want to bitch and moan that you stayed and you could be rewarded for your loyalty, then shut the up. You should have either taken the money, or guess what? You could probably go still take the money. Or you could be happy that over the last 2 years, as a result of this competition, you've been paid more than you've ever been paid before. We have continued to find ways to pay you, whether it's through sweetheart sponsor deals that you end up getting through other tournament sponsors, whether it's through the PIP thing, which is a total good old boy network. That's just a subjective decision that they make. They're not transparent with it. They pay who they want to pay. Or the purses that have increased, the signature events, all this stuff. We've found ways to make you to give you more money and reward you for being here. If that's not enough, I'm sorry. But now we have to lock in the future, not the past. That's where I'm thinking like, God, if I'm in that room making that decision, why am I not going, hey, listen, Justin Thomas, great dude. He's had a great career. He's been an ambassador for the game. I mean, if we do all remember that everybody wanted to cancel him a few years ago for saying a word on the course that got caught on a hot mic. But other than that, he's been a complete ambassador for the game. However, on his career arc, he's here, and he might even be going here. Ludwig Aberg, Scotty Scheffler are here. Victor Hovland here. I don't want to say Morikawa because personally I don't like Morikawa, but you could maybe say Morikawa. Those are the guys that they should be investing in heavily to shore up if they don't want them taking a LIV deal. So it's just, to me, it's just foolish. It's again the PGA Tour doing everything they can to solidify their friends in the good old boy network and take care of the past instead of looking ahead to the future, which is what got them in this mess to begin with. They were just comfy with the past, comfy with the status quo for so many decades, and they didn't look to the future. They haven't invested in the future. And so I think it's dumb. I understand that the money is rewarding the past. It's rewarding their loyalty, but it's pacifying a bunch of babies. And if you don't want them, if you didn't take the money, for whatever reason you didn't take the money, then live with the decision. But retention bonuses get passed out from time to time at companies, but they're not usually given out because employees demand them and go, we're leaving if you don't give us a retention bonus. And they go, and the companies go, fine, leave or stay, whatever you want. Like, I don't understand it. It's just lack of forward thinking to me.
Well, I mean, I can agree on some of that. I do think you have to solidify, though, and I think you've used that word too. You have to solidify the talent you've had on tour before you can keep a lot of the guys. Like you can't say to the new guys, hey, guess what? We're going to leave the old guys out to dry if the first sign of adversity, and so we're not going to take care of them. So that should easily give you a chance to jump or do whatever. Like, you got to actually show that you're going to be taking care of the people who are, and we're looking at it through the lens of people that talk about golf every single day. We know who Ludwig is. Obviously people know who Scotty is, but the fact is, I'm sure whatever formula they're using is because of what obviously Tiger. I mean, we can throw him out of the equation. Everybody knows
I'm not
Tiger
gonna say a
moves the
word about
needle
that.
and all that kind of stuff. But Rory does too. I mean, Rory made 80. I mean, Tony just said $80 million last year. 40 million was off the golf course. You know, all these guys, Jordan, JT, all of them are very present in the game of golf across the world, despite the fact of what their games are like right now. So I think you still have to have some element of taking care of those people before to even show the new ones that you're going to end up getting taken care of too at some point. Like if they had just given Ludwig $100 million, I don't know if I would have agreed with that either. I don't think I would have been like, okay, well, so now we're just all becoming live. And they don't have the money to do that anyway. They don't.
No, they don't. And
So
that's why also this is silly. Again, like what does $50 million vested over 8 years matter to Rory? And
I don't
what does it do to shore up any idea that he would not go to live? Like what does it do to shore that up? Nothing. It does nothing. So it's
yeah,
literally
I mean,
just a continued way to pay off your golden boys for their loyalty in the past. The past.
I still think a lot of those players are present players. They are not past players. I don't think Rory is a past player. I don't think JT or Jordan are past
Oh,
players.
yeah, I
They're
agree.
still top 10 players in
I
the
agree,
world.
but they're rewarding them for past behavior.
Well,
Who
I don't have a
cares?
problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't.
All right. We can move on.
Yeah. I mean, I love the new guys just as much as you do, but I just don't have a problem with them rewarding them.
Would you, Pat? Does the number have anything to do with it as far as JT or DB as well? JT getting 30. If they gave JT 10 for his past loyalty, all of that kind of stuff, and then divvied up the other 20 among some of these up and comers, some of in the last 18 months, you've got guys like Ludwig, you've got guys like Scotty, all these guys who have made an impact, kind of an immediate impact on the sport, on the PGA Tour. Does the amount affect that at all?
I don't think the amount affects it much at all to me. Like, I don't know what the equations are. I don't know. I mean, and like DB's kind of saying, like, does it really even matter? Like, if Liv comes to them with $200 million and they want to take it, they can just take it. So I don't. Obviously, they'd probably be giving up what their vested interest in the tour is, but you know, and who knows what all this looks like anyway when if there's a deal that gets done, which brings back into Rory going back onto the advisory board or whatever you want to call it, the policy board. I mean, I think that the only way that any of this is going to make golf fans come back is if, for one, there's a deal, they stop talking about money and they just go play golf. That's all people really care about, and that's the only thing that's going to bring people back, I think, to the game, is that whatever they create brings back the best players at so and so amount of tournaments a year. We know it's not going to be 40 something events a year, but as long as it's more than just the majors, that's what's going to start to bring people back. Other than that, I don't really care. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. I just want to see some good golf and entertaining golf. And that's all I care about.
I mean, you asked if the money if the dollar amounts make a difference. Here's my problem. The overarching problem is you said what, $750 million? Is that what you said goes into? So literally a half of the first, it's only 1.5 billion promised from the new investor group, right? There's a potential for another 1.5 billion, but it's only 1.5 billion right now. So half of that, they are just pissing into the wind to pacify millionaires who are bitching about not taking an offer that they could have taken in a free capitalistic society because their feelings are hurt and they want to be rewarded for loyalty.
No. So would you want, if you were investing in a new company and they have, what is their job there to put out the best golf tournaments as they can put out as it sits right now with the tour versus LIV? people come out to watch JT and Jordan and Rory and Tiger. Obviously, Tiger's not. They aren't showing up at your golf tournament because Ludwig is there. I'm sorry, they're not. They're not showing up because Scheffler's there, to be honest. Now he's getting there because of how good he is. But if you could say that, then people aren't showing up to see not Lexi, but Nelly, and she's won 5 straight tournaments. She's good looking, and they're not doing anything. So you have to if your it's your product on the field, right? Like you want the best players at these tournaments that you can have. So you have to give them some money.
They have.
People aren't going to show up. People are not going to show up to your golf tournament because Ludwig is there.
Dude, if you think Ludwig is now not a household name to a lot of new golf fans after the Masters, and he's coming, and people are going, man, I want to see this Ludwig kid hit a golf ball. He's coming. Is he on Jordan Spieth's level? Absolutely not.
I know,
if you don't think there are kids right now and young people right now who are getting into the game because of whatever reason that aren't eyeballing Ludwig, they are. And
I don't think it's as great as you would think it is.
But it's future.
Starting to get there.
It's the future. Same thing with Hovland. Same thing with more.
If you're investing in a company, you want it. I would like to have.
Why would you take half of your investment and not improve the product? There's so many things they need to do to improve the product, and
we're at the very beginning of this. They just announced this like 3 months ago. We don't know what all they're going to do.
You just blew half of your initial investment on pacifying.
Well, but they said that in the initial agreement that a lot of the money at the beginning was going to be doled out this way.
But the question is why? Is it to keep them on the PGA Tour? Because we just said that's not going to work. This amount of money is not going to work.
I'm saying that right now they have a product that they have to try to get to make it better or whatever. And in order to have a product, they got to solidify the stars that are on their tour now, as it sits right now.
This doesn't do that. We just said that. We just said, what's another?
Maybe it does. Maybe
it does. 50 million to Rory. What's another 30 million to Jordan Spieth?
They've obviously shown that they're not going to LIV.
Right. So why
you got to keep them? You got to keep them somehow. You got to do something.
Where else are they going to go if they're not going to LIV? What are they going to do? Go to the Corn Ferry Tour? They're just going to say, "I'm full time."
I'm just saying,
TGL now. I'm full time TGL now. I'm leaving.
I'm just saying, I'd have zero problem.
The TGL was probably created for these guys anyway, as a way to give them more. That's another thing between the PIP, between the increased purses, while losing sponsors and losing eyeballs, between finding all this extra money in the bank that they've had over the last couple of years, between the TGL, they have found ways to line these guys' pockets for being there and staying loyal. So this is not necessary. It's just not necessary. And there's nowhere else for them to go. So if they're not going to LIV, they're there. Where else are they going to go?
All I can say is, it's like when I'm investing if I have somebody that's handling my money, okay? There is a lot smarter person than me that's handling that runs a fund or whatever. It's the same thing with this. I would bet that these people that invested in the tour, that started this new kind of know what they're doing.
I don't know.
I think Arthur Blank maybe knows what he's doing.
Arthur Blank. Don't get me started on Arthur Blank. This will turn into a Falcons shit fest of a contest.
No, that's the Falcons. I'm talking about freaking Home Depot. I'm not talking about the Falcons. You're talking about sports. I'm talking about like what these people did to bring companies that made money.
Is better. Lowe's is better anyway. He's going to lose. All right, next topic.
Jeez.
All right, Pat, something that you just mentioned, you want to just watch golf and put a smile on your face. We'll move on to, hopefully this will put a smile on your face.
Oh, this will put a smile on your face.
I watched this right before the show.
No, I was hoping you hadn't watched it. I wanted you to watch it live.
All right, we'll play it. DB, you can pick it up on the back end.
Good God Almighty. Listen, and for those of you listening on podcasts and not on YouTube, this is the rollout video for the new team at the TGL, the Florida Jupiter Lynx Golf Club. Okay. Captain Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Tom Kim, and Kevin Kisner are the team. And that video is the dumbest video. This is the straight up Happy Gilmore scene. Thank you for that, and we are all now dumber for having listened to it with
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. I just, how stupid do they think people are? And I can't imagine laying my head on a pillow at night being whoever sold Tiger or the TGL, whoever sold them the bill of goods that we're going to be your marketing team for Jupiter Golf Links. They're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'd imagine. Somebody got paid thousands of dollars to produce that video and sit in a room. And I would imagine get it approved by El Tigre himself. And that person is a pirate. They are a crook. That is the worst video I've ever seen. Our passion for golf is fueled by the sand, the sun. Is that what it said?
I don't.
What the fresh hell does this even mean? Jupiter, Florida, is a place where the only people born there are trust fund kids, trust fund babies. No one is from Jupiter except trust fund babies. Tiger and Max are from California. Okay? Tom Kim lives in Dallas. Kevin Kisner, we know Kiz. I would love to call Kiz and talk to him straight up. Does Kevin Kisner, Pat, you know Kevin better than anyone. Is Kiz a Jupiter guy? Is he a Jupiter guy? A place where their passion for golf is fueled by the sand and sun and vibrant energy and surfing and beach life and opulence everywhere you turn and just absolute ridiculous country club. I mean, beyond country. I mean, this is like the elitist of the elite golf communities in Jupiter. Is that Kevin Kisner? Is that him?
No, Kiz is not living the Jeep life. If you had told me that this video was about the latest retirement community for Kiz, Smiley Kaufman, Ricky Fowler, probably Jordan and JT coming off of that conversation. Like if you said they are going to retire at Jupiter, at Jupiter Links, this new community, I would have been like, man, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Saban's probably right. Nick Saban's the leader of the community. He's the leader of the community, and this is his, this is what he built.
He runs a pickleball league on Thursday evenings. It looks like a Sandals beach resort ad, where guys can play golf. Your wives can enjoy the beach and they can get massages on the beach. You could stay at a cabana. It is the dumbest thing. And for, now we made fun of LIV. When LIV rolled out all the teams, we made fun of it. I made fun of it. You made fun of it. We did. It was a horrible rollout. The team names were weird. Remember how terrible a lot of the graphics were? Some are still the same, but the clip art but the amount of PGA Tour like knobs that just couldn't think of anything other than sucking off the PGA Tour that made so much fun of LIV and the rollout of these teams. If those people are not all over this, they are hypocritical liars, because this TGL thing is a total farce, no different than LIV. It's no different.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see what it's like when it comes out. The last thing I'll say, I know we're going to have to move on, but now, DB, you do know, I think we're going to have to get Tony to find this after the show. We did a hype video, when you and I played in the member guest one year.
We did.
And it was might have been a little corny.
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't it a little corny?
No.
We'll have to see. I haven't seen it in like 4 years since we did it. So I gotta, maybe we'll have to get Tony to decide what he thinks about it.
It was way better than this thing. This piece of trash. I mean, it looks like they did it on camera.
I do remember like us high-fiving and stuff. And
yeah.
That's your guys' stick, though. You guys are supposed to be corny with something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. Yeah.
We don't have a 6-figure budget to roll this out.
No, yeah. I agree. I'm with you.
God. All right, I'm fired up. I mean, that's enough. Now listen, the TGL thing, I'm gonna watch it. It might be interesting. Could be wrong. We all came around a little bit on LIV. I came around a little bit on LIV, and I'm just because I make fun of the team thing doesn't mean I'm not gonna be interested in watching it. Who knows? Could be cool. We'll see. But that was a terrible rollout, and if I can corner Kiz, I'm gonna ask him some hard questions. We're gonna Barbara Walters Kiz one day about the TGL Jupe Life thing. All right, that's it for the bump and run. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great week. See you out.
Run it back.